Hello, 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 everybody. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Ooh, I got two people in here. Yo, I got two people in here. That means I'm doing something right. Six people. Yo, what's up? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? My name's Kevin. Over here talking about nursing stuff. NCLEX is coming up. I'm a nurse. I'm a coach. Let's talk about some study tips. So I'll give it a couple minutes. Let some people get up in here. I don't know what they want to talk about. So y'all let me know where y'all are from. Let me know where y'all are from. What y'all doing today? I thought today was Sunday because I didn't have to go to my job. So I thought today was Sunday. But today is definitely Monday. So it feels like a Monday even though I didn't have to go to my job. So, what's up? What's up? How y'all doing? I should probably figure out how to take people off of from inviting me because I every time I do an Instagram on the wrong platform. Every time I do a TikTok live, people always want to jump on, and I don't know if that's a thing that they do or whatever. So I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna talk about some study tips. So hope everybody got their pen and paper ready. Hope everybody's preparing for that NCLEX. If you're taking the old NCLEX, let me know what's up. If you're taking the new one, let me know what's up. And yeah, just let me know where y'all from, what y'all doing. And then we'll get it started. Like I said, we're going to be talking about some study tips. And, you would think they would be really simple. But especially if you've never taken the exam before, maybe it may not be your cup of tea. And, your professors or your instructors at school, they don't really kind of give you any guidance. Some are really good, but most of them are just get you through school. But they don't really kind of help. They kind of just tell you what to do. So, hopefully with this, I'll be able to just be hey, this is what you should do. This is the same stuff that I do when I coach. I also coach obviously on the side. And so, I talk about study tips and how to prepare yourself and how to, just getting through that hump of you don't have anybody there to hold your hand when it comes to studying. So, we're going to be talking about that. Hey, so wherever y'all are from, drop them in there. Let me know where you are in your nursing journey and all that good jazz. We'll try to have a good time. You guys ask those questions down there. Hopefully I'll be able to kind of keep up with them while I'm trying to read my little PowerPoint right here that I made. So, yeah. And as a matter of fact, I really don't need to even go off the PowerPoint. It's just more of just, kind of just talking it through and then answering any questions that everybody has going on. Y'all notice I'm a big hand talker, right? So I'm going to kind of chill out with that. So like I said, my name is Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse, all those social media platforms. So YouTube, Instagram, of course, TikTok, Twitter. If anybody still uses Twitter, all those other spots, you can follow me over there. I like to drop a bunch of stuff. So the first thing I like to say when it comes to studying, time management. I'm a big proponent of time management. A lot of people will sit here and tell me, oh, they don't have the time to do this, that, and the third. Well, we all got the same 24 hours in a day, every single person. So however you allocate your time and how you allocate your time best will eventually get you there. You can't be one of those individuals to not go and study for this exam. You just can't. So there are those very, very small, minute of people that are just oh, no, I don't need to study. And let me tell y'all how my first time went. And if y'all don't know, I failed my NCLEX multiple times. I even did a video of it over there on Instagram. Would I talk about it on Instagram? Hey, everybody just go follow me on Instagram since I like to talk about it a lot. But I did a video on it and I put it on YouTube. So if you want to go see it on YouTube, if you're one of those individuals who were unsuccessful, hey, hopefully that'll give you guys some motivation. So anyways, first time I took the exam, it was just one of those where I was just nah, I ain't worried about it. I got it. A little background. I'm a Navy corpsman, so I had a lot of medical experience, deployed and in hospitals, but it's a different realm going from that to, being a nurse. And I was man, I've already been exposed to a bunch of this stuff. So why do I need to just sit here and study? Well, I failed the first time because I just thought I knew everything. It's a different realm that we go into. So in regards to that, just always keep an open mind when it comes to. We think that we know stuff, but in reality, if you've never been exposed to it, you don't really necessarily know anything. All right. Hey, and if y'all are getting value from all this stuff that I'm talking, make sure y'all drop a like. Y'all go follow me on all that stuff. So, but yeah, so it was a really tough time. So one thing I'll say is if you're an LPN, LVN, once again, you guys are also nurses. And if you guys are CNAs or MAs, definitely take the time to realize that it's going to be you that's going to be that nurse that's going to be giving out that information to that patient. Okay, so just be aware. Don't be cocky or anything like that. But anyways, let me circle back. Time management. I'm a big proponent on it. Right? When you don't know what you don't know. Yeah, that's facts. Like if you don't know, you don't know. Right? And so be open enough to be able to say something about it, saying like, hey, I don't know. Can you please guide me? Right? And that's what I do. And I implore everyone to, if you don't know, reach out to somebody that you feel may know. Information is free. It just depends on who you get it from, because some people try to charge for it, but it doesn't matter. But first thing, time management. I'm a big proponent on time management. I actually was a person that actually had to put my stuff like on an actual calendar. I don't have the calendar right here with me. But like I said, if you go on my Instagram or if you go on my YouTube, you'll see when I was making my videos that I had my stuff I had it actually on a calendar. So let's say, what's today? Today is the 6th of March. So let's just say 2 months from now on May 6th that you were going to take your exam. Okay, go ahead and get you a calendar, print it out. I like to print it out because it forces me to have to write it, and I have to physically put it up on a wall, or I have to put it somewhere. Shout out for all the likes. So I had to physically put it there, and it forces me to have to look at it every day. So I would put it in a spot that I know I would see it. So if I'm in front of it, like right here behind my computer, I look here behind my computer every day, or I put it on my door, or I put it on my wall right here to where I know when I started to get distracted, I'd be like, all right, cool. I know I need to do at least 75 questions. Why do we need to at least do 75 questions? Right. I know y'all are going to answer. But we at least do 75 questions because that's the minimum for the test. I always say practice like you play. You practice so hard for those 2 months to go and show out at the game for those 2 hours. Because all the NCLEX is just a game. The hardest part is practicing. And that's for anything. It doesn't necessarily be for this exam. It could be for any sport. It could be for any goal that you're trying to achieve. So you always want to put yourself on a schedule and stick to it, right? You want to stick to that schedule because I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be there to hold your hand. I could literally give you all the answers, but in reality, it is you who has to go and take that exam. You want to know why? Because I got my license already. And and the way that I am right now it is the exact way that I am with any of my students that I'm coaching. And when y'all see me start to do this right here, that means I'm about it. That means I'm about to let y'all know what's up. So first thing, time management. Put yourself on a schedule. Put it on print out a calendar. Put it on there. Do reading, your content. Content and questions are the meat and potatoes of everything. Okay. So one day, let's say you start tomorrow. So tomorrow needs to be content, right? Content. And I'm just giving you as an example. So it needs to be content, right? Study content. Start off with those areas that you're not so hot in. So for me, it would have been pharmacology, and it would have been pharmacology and peds those the worst. Pharmacology, I like to call is like the nurse killer because there's so many meds, so many things you have to memorize, understanding the signs and symptoms. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. So a schedule for sure. With content and questions. You can even mix them up during the day. So if you know you're going to take your test in a month, do them both every day. Me, when I took my exam, it was over the course, when I studied, it was over the course of 2 months of hardcore studying. And I did NCLEX questions every day. And then the closer I got to the NCLEX, it was every other day. But it was 75 to 150 questions one day. Then the next day it was content, and then I rinsed and I repeated. Okay. So first thing, time management. Put yourself on a schedule. I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to look at some of y'all's questions because I saw y'all drop some. Let's see. Just started my residency program and found out today I failed. So distraught. Now I have to take the new generation NCLEX. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, let me tell you that it's unfortunate that you did not pass the exam. Or were unsuccessful at not making it through the exam. But that's okay, though. It's okay. It's okay for you to be distraught because it's so much time that you dedicated to this exam. You want to know why so much time? I want you to think about it. I'm going to put some stuff into perspective. The hardest part about any of this is getting through nursing school because you have to first say, hey, I want to be a nurse. The second thing is you have to prepare to get into school. And then when you get into school, it's hell. It is absolute hell. And I know everybody in here wanted to quit. There's no one in here that can tell me that they didn't want to quit, because I know you wanted to quit. Everyone wants to quit. And there's no one saying like, oh my God, nursing school is great. I love everything about it. You're lying. So that's the hardest part. Passing the NCLEX is just getting past the finish line, right? So you're distraught. The only thing that's really necessarily changing about the NCLEX is that they're adding the case scenarios. But the whole test is not going to be case scenarios. And if you've been preparing, like I know some schools, they throw in case studies like from when you're doing your quizzes or when you're doing your exams. There's not going to be anything different. I could ask you, and on the NCLEX, when it comes to those case scenarios, they can ask you 8 questions, 8 out of like one paragraph. But it's throwing it out there for you to jump into your critical thinking, right? But don't be distraught. This is a learning opportunity for you to look at what you feel you didn't do right. And usually when you get your breakdown, because I'm in Texas and they'll give you the breakdown. I know everybody does, but my breakdown looks a little different. Look at that breakdown and see where you did not do well, because it's only you that's taking that exam. Okay. So see where you didn't do well and then build upon it. I have a mentor that always tells me, in order for us to be great, we have to fail forward, we have to fail fast, and we have to fail often. One thing about you not being successful at this exam is that now you can, when you do pass, because I'm all about speaking stuff into existence here, when you do pass, go ahead and tell somebody. Go ahead and tell somebody, because it's considered like a warrior's journey. Like I failed, but I was still successful because I didn't give up. So don't give up on yourself, all right? And the new generation NCLEX, it's new. So there's going to be those hiccups when it first comes out, but I really don't think it's going to be too bad. I've actually looked at a bunch of the questions, and a lot of the stuff is like you already know. It's all about the sequence of how you answer them. That's it. How do I feel about the new Well, I honestly don't think it's terrible, but I'm saying this for somebody who's been a nurse for 3 years, and for somebody who studied for the NCLEX, multiple times and eventually passed it on the 4th. Hi, how many times did you take your exam? I failed 3 times and I took it on the 4th. And I'm sorry, I failed 3 times and I passed on the 4th. So I've taken it a total of 4 times. They definitely are the worst when you're going through it. But hey, if I can make it, you can make it. Like one of the girls I coach, and you guys can go see the video on YouTube or on Instagram. Hell, I even think I dropped it on here. She failed her exam 7 times. 7. I even coached somebody who failed 10 times. So it's not like it's impossible. Like it's not. The test doesn't determine what type of nurse that you're going to be. I have seen some of the worst nurses ever in my life that are I don't get it. I've seen some really bad nurses that passed on the first time, right? But I've seen some, some few and far in between. And then I also saw somebody who took their exam multiple times, to include myself. And I'm a rock star, and ain't nobody gonna say I'm a rock star better than me. So there's that. So don't put yourself in a hole like that. All right. You have to figure out where you were in order for you to build upon that so you can get to where you want to be. Okay. What changed on your studying for the 4th time taking it? Honestly, the biggest thing was putting myself on the schedule. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And y'all, I kind of look a mess because I just came from working out. But I didn't have myself on the schedule. The first 2 times I was taking an exam, no lie, I was sitting on my couch with my laptop, had the TV on. I was like on the couch, like just answering 1 or 2 questions every couple hours, was taking a nap. Nap should be mandatory, by the way. I mean, if babies and kids, if my son can take a nap, why can't I? I'm just saying. And don't frown upon me when I take a nap either. The hell? So, but yeah, biggest thing was putting myself on a schedule and sticking to it. So that means there were a bunch of people that didn't like the fact that I was just, well, I'm not going to say a bunch of people, but there were specific people that when you tell them what you're trying to do, when it becomes an inconvenience for them or it becomes a problem for them, then it becomes a headache. Right? Huge headache. So, but you have to stick by your guns. So if you have kids, you got to figure out how your kids are going to be taken care of, or if you have a significant other, handle that, right? So that was one of the biggest things was time management. Huge. Thank you. I just recently failed for the second time. And that's okay. That's okay. It's okay if you fail. It's okay. I don't even like to say fail. It's okay. It's okay that you were unsuccessful at this exam. Because let me tell y'all something. Hey, yo, this is years of counseling talking to y'all right now. All right. So if this is the worst thing that could happen to you, I think that's okay. If this is the worst thing that could happen to you, I think that this is okay. All right. And the reason why I say that is because you're drawing breath. You're alive. You know, you're a blessing to somebody. Right. And you still got a house. You still got a roof over your head. If you have a vehicle, you still got a vehicle getting you to and from. You know, you got kids. They're a blessing. Right. Now, we all put this test so high up here because we need to do it. Yeah, we got to make some stuff happen. We got to make some stuff happen for ourselves, right? But just know that I was in the same boat as y'all, right? I was in the same boat as those individuals that were unsuccessful, all right? A lot of people just don't talk about it. I'm at my job and I openly tell people that I failed that exam. And then when they look at you, they're just like, oh, I've told people that I failed my exam before and they were like, I would never want you as my nurse. And I'm just like, cool. I guess I don't want you as a patient. All because of an exam that tests the basics of nurse safety. That's cool. Whatever. Go do you. And you know who said it? It was actually an older nurse. She was like a 20-year nurse who said she would never want me to take care of her. And I was like, cool. Well, I mean, if you have a code brown and you need for me to clean you, I guess I can't take care of you since, you know, I still got taking a test. So there's that. Honestly, that made me cry. Thank you for your kind words. I will pass and I will become a nurse. That's what I'm talking about. I'm all about words of affirmation. Don't bring negativity around here. I promise you. You bring negativity around here and you start doing a lot of this, I'm going to block you. So I don't play with negativity in my realm at all. I don't play with negativity in my house. None of that. I don't do none of that. All right. So keep your head up. And push. And especially if you guys are, I'm going to start doing these lives a lot more. But if you guys will hear me start pushing. Like I'm a Navy guy. I've been in the Navy for 15 years. Can't you tell by like, I don't know, I got some gray hairs. Somewhere over here in this mop, right? But I've been in the Navy for 15 years, so I'm a very type of person. So I'll tell you to push. I'll be like, hey, you fell, I'm gonna come down to you and I'm gonna be like, get up, let's go. You got to push. Right? Because this ain't the worst. This is not the worst thing that could happen to you, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. All right? Y'all are going to do great. Words of affirmation. Speak it into existence. Stop playing with me. All right? Stop playing with yourself. All right? Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate your positivity. Hey, I'm all about it. I'm all about giving it back. Right? I had a mentor who flat out told me what I wasn't doing. Right? If y'all go to my YouTube, you see that. But he, retired lieutenant colonel out of the Army. 25 years, ICU nurse for 15 of those years. I like to call him a salt dog, like a salty dog. He was in the Navy at one point, but he's just just very like not by the book, but he was just very stern guy. And he's a good friend of mine now, and to this day, and still a good mentor. But he told me flat out to me, "Hey, man, what the F aren't you doing, bro?" And I'm just like, "You're right." And I had to take a look. I'm telling you, I used to come home and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to study. Next thing you know, I don't know, watching Rick and Morty and I'm knocked out on the damn couch. So obviously that is not conducive. That wasn't conducive for me. So I had to actually take my life, by the handlebars and figure like, bro, like you want to keep spending this money? Bro, you want to keep sitting here and being a graduate nurse and not being an RN? Bro, you want to sit here and let all of that hard work go to, be in vain because you want to sit here and take a damn nap? Well, you better get it together. So that's what I'm about. All right. I think I understand the content, but need to know how to answer the questions plus my test anxiety. That's facts. Test anxiety is a very real thing. But the one thing I'll tell you, and this is another thing I'll say, it's endurance. And this is what practice comes with, right? You have to. So anybody that does any of those free NCLEX reviews where you can print them off, and this is just my personal thoughts on this, right? Anybody that prints off one of those one of those NCLEX tests, like from nursing.com or Simple Nursing or anything like that, not saying that that's bad material, right? But that is not practicing like you're playing. And I want you to tell me, How do you take your NCLEX? On the damn computer. The NCLEX hasn't been on paper since like the mid to late 90s. It's been on the computer 20 plus years. So why in the hell would I take an exam on paper? That's just me. That's just me. I want you to really, really think about that. Especially for individuals who have taken the exam before. What does it look like? It's on the computer. That's how you should be practicing, right? This soda, y'all can see it. Oh shit, that's what I'm talking about. So the Sprite Zero, you can't have drinks at the NCLEX. You can't have drinks in the testing center. You can't have your phone at the testing center. You can't have none of that. Hell, I don't even let you have like smart watches. I had to take mine off. And then you have to sit here and you have to do your questions. You can't do any questions less than 75 because your exam is at least 75 questions. So anybody that comes to me when they talk to me and I'm coaching them, hey, I did 20 questions here. Why? Well, because, you have to put aside the time in order for you to sit for that exam. The way to sit for this exam and try to get over that test anxiety is to put yourself in that position and to test yourself. You have to test yourself. You have to get over that anxiety. You have to build endurance to sit in front of this computer. Some people are like, man, I can't sit in front of the computer for long. I get fidgety, blah, 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 blah. I bet you if you sat here and you applied the correct factors, you'll get over that test anxiety. I'm gonna point out another little widget for you, or I guess whatever you want to call it. When I took my exam, I would sit there, or not my exam, but when I would practice, I would sit here. And then there was I think I did mine through Kaplan, and they had the little counter and all the other stuff that's on the upper right hand corner. I would hide the clock, and I would hide the amount of questions, right? And then on the bottom right hand corner of my computer, everybody on their computer has the time. If you have a Mac, it's on the top right. If you have a PC, it's on the bottom right, right? So down here, I would be like, okay. And I always did my quizzes around the same time. So if you are a morning person and you like to do your quizzes in the morning, take your test in the morning. That's another trick. Not even a trick, but just another thought. Because you already practiced that way. Right? So I sit here, I do my quizzes. I would do 40 questions and I would be like, all right, man, I got a headache. All right. And let me see. I started at 1. All right, cool. Now it's 1:45. So I did 40 questions in 45 minutes. Okay, cool. That's telling me I'm at least at a minute, maybe a little bit less, maybe about a minute or 60 to 90 seconds per question, right? All right, cool. And so I started to actually do this as I was studying. And I didn't realize I was doing it until I took my exam, because I probably got to question like 9 or 10 when I was taking my exam. Boom. And then and I started doing this. And then when I got to question 40, I looked up, I was like, what the hell? Because that was a place of comfort for me, because that's how I was practicing and that's how I was building endurance. And then next year, and I took my test. I guess you can consider I would be one of the lucky ones, but even at this point, people were still failing their exam. I was one of those people who took it because COVID happened March of 2020. I took my exam June of 2020, and I got 60 questions. So I took my test, and at an hour and 5 minutes, it cut off, and then I passed. I found out after that, right? So to get over that test anxiety, you got to build that endurance. You have to actually put yourself in the testing situation. No phone, no water, no snacks, screen, practice questions, content. If you're going to be doing content, you need to be, however you take notes, however you learn, auditory, visual, kinesthetic, read, write, however, have your notes, have your paper, do it, right? Go through your videos or do whatever. If you're going to start taking your quiz, clear this desk and put all that other stuff away, and then do your exam. All right. On average, 175 question quiz should take you no longer than an hour and a half. All right. Think about that. All right. So I know I answered your question. I'll get through the rest of the tips. I promise. So true. Do radiologists have to take a test? Yes. Every profession, every medical professional has a board licensing certification of exam at some point. Even CNAs. CNAs have it. Medical assistants have it. RNs have it. LPN, LVNs have it. Physician's assistants, of course, have it. Medical doctors have it. Everybody has it. So Hopefully you didn't go anywhere. But yes, every professional level in medicine has a certification, a board licensing exam of some sort. So, do I tutor? Yes, I do tutor. If you go to thebootnurse.com, you will see that I have, I do offer coaching, and you will be able to see those packages there. No negative allowed. I know that's right, because I don't play that stuff. My favorite professor had to take it 4 times, and she is one of the best nurses I know. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, because society, and I'll say even within our realm of nursing, you know, they judge you based off of an exam, but they don't know nothing about you. They don't know. All they see is that, oh, there's that exam, but they don't know how you got. They don't know how you got there. They don't know nothing about you. And that's why I say I openly tell people, because I genuinely don't care what they have to say. Because most of those people are going to stay in a hospital, and they're going to try to work there for 40 years. They're going to complain about everything. They're not going to change their life. Nope, that ain't me. Because I realized at that moment when I took my exam, for the 4th time, I even said to myself, it was January of 2020. It was like a New Year's resolution. I had like an epiphany. There was a lot of stuff that happened to me in 2020. So I had said, I was just like, when I passed my exam, I never want anybody else to feel how I felt. Ever. I never want nobody to feel like they're lost. I don't want anybody to ever feel like that they can't get it. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they can't be part of the hundreds of thousands of other nurses, male and female, or whatever you identify as, to, you know, passing this exam. Never ever do I want anybody to ever feel that way, which is why I started my YouTube channel and why I started everything else. So, and especially why I started coaching, and especially why I'm creating an NCLEX review. So, there's that. The next thing I'll say, we'll talk about, I talk about time management. I'm all about a support system. That's the next thing that's on my list, is a support system. And I say a true support system. And I want y'all to really pay attention to this, okay? Some people are envious of you, even though they'll never say it to you, but you can tell it by their words, and you can tell it by their body language. It doesn't matter who they are. It could be your wife. It could be your husband. It could be your sister, brother, mother. It's people that you call friends. I remember I had somebody tell me, you'll really know who your friends are after you graduate. I didn't. Like, I had a whole bunch of people I was cool with, and now, not saying I'm not cool with them, but it's just like, when you dedicate time to something that you're really trying to strive for, especially if it's in a positive direction, and it takes away time from other people who don't get the journey that you're trying to go to, you'll see who the true people are in your corner, right? So I like to say a true support system. And a true support system consists of somebody who is not going to be envious of you, and who is not going to sit here and just be like, make backhanded or undermining comments, or anything of the sort. There was one girl I was talking to where I was coaching her. This was when I was in nursing school, and her husband flat out just said that, well, I think we were talking about something, and then she gets off and she messages me, because anybody that I coach through my coaching, they get my phone number. So she texts me, and she was telling me, hey, he's being a real jerk. And I was like, why? What's going on? And she said that, well, he said, since I was talking to you, I was more worried about you than worried about, my family. And I was just like, I'm trying to help you. I was like, this is not what this is. And he was just like, well, since you didn't come out, you got to fend for yourself. So I'm like, this woman studying for school and doing everything else. And he was just being really mean and nasty to her. So I like to say, when you start to get to that place of where you feel like you're in a really bad situation, I like to call it a reevaluation period. Reevaluate where you are. Reevaluate the things that you want for yourself, and definitely the things that you don't want for yourself. I can't even tell you how many people I've seen start relationships, be happy-go-lucky, and then first semester of nursing school hits, and it's a challenge for them, and then they break up with somebody, they get a divorce. Halfway through the program, they get a divorce. Like, it really does show who can make it, who can hack it, right? It really does. So, support system. I'm all about it. Like I said, I love the fact that your professor failed 4 times and and is probably one of the best nurses that you know. And that's great because those people understand what it's like to have to, pick themselves back up and grind and push, right? This test does not define you. 100%. No negativity allowed. True, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I do 100 questions. Hey, if you wake up at 4 a.m. and you do 100 questions, and if that is something that is considered your norm for you, awesome. So like if you go take your exam, you better take your exam first thing in the morning because you're already used to taking your exams, questions in the morning. No snacks. And I know that's kind of rough too when you wake up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you've been training yourself to do that, remember the test has time availability, right? I would always study in the afternoon, in the evening when I would get off work. But then I would go take an exam at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not a big morning person like that. Can't y'all see these bags under this old man eyes? Like what y'all saying? What y'all talking about, right? Did you study while working? Yes, I did. I studied while working, and then COVID happened, and then everybody had to telework. And so, they called it no work, but I was the supervisor at my job when I was active duty, and so a lot of my work got moved from wherever I was at the office to online. So it wasn't hard for me to go from that portion to that portion. So I did studying while I was working, and then I did studying when we were told to stay at home, the shelter or stay in place type deal. So I don't have any support, and I noticed it the second time that I failed. And it's wild. It's wild. And so that's another thing, let me tell y'all. And I already know there's only 5 people in here, and I'm cool with that, right? But y'all can tell everybody else. And I truly mean it. Hey, y'all already know when I start to do this, I'm about it. Hey, I really, really mean this shit. It's like, if you don't feel like you have a good support system, y'all can message me. I have no problem messaging people. If you reach out to me and you have a question, cool. If you want coaching, you know where to go. Go to the website. We can make some stuff happen. If you need encouraging words, cool. You want me to send you like reels of positivity and motivation? Yo, I'm all about it. My biggest one is that one that Denzel talks about. He was just like, without dedication, you will never start, but without consistency, you'll never finish. I'm about it. I'm about it. We're Deion Sanders, prime time, where he talks about ain't nobody look at you, but ain't nobody seeing what you're doing, but you're gonna win. You know what? You may be struggling over here, but you're gonna win. You may have failed something, but you're gonna win. And I try to there's a girl I'm coaching right now. 2 of them. One takes her exam next week. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, hey, you're going to win. And she was like, you're right, I am going to win. I was like, yeah, you are going to win. So keep saying it, right? So support system, right? I'm big on it. And then find a community. Find a community that will make that along the positivity. I'm all about Facebook groups. You can go on the Facebook group, type in NCLEX nursing, blah, 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 whatever. And you get nothing but support for people who have walked the same exact line as you have. I promise you. All right. So if you all don't ever feel like y'all got a support system, y'all got a support system in me. Just passed my NCLEX a few days ago. Hey, congratulations to you. I'm so glad that you passed that NCLEX. Hey, that hard work and that tenacity pays off. The one thing I like to tell the people is that when you pass your NCLEX, you start working on the floor, and then you get a nursing student, you better take them under your wing. You better take them under your wing, and you better point them in the right direction for them to be successful. Period. All right. I'm all about, like, when I'm at work, I tell them to give me the students because I want to see where they are, and I want to point them in the direction to go get them a drink of water. If everybody understands that analogy. I took it at 8 a.m. both times. If you take it at 8 a.m. both times, hey, like I said, that's exactly where you want to be, right? Because that's where you're most comfortable. Right? That's where you're the most comfortable. All right. So we talked about that. We talked about it. We talked about the time management. What else we talk about? We talk about support system, accountability. I'm a big person on accountability. You have to be accountable for what you don't do, but you also have to be accountable for what you do, right? Be accountable for what you do, but also understand and be accountable for the things that you don't do. Like me, I didn't study because I took a nap. I had to say that to myself. And it's just like, bro, you're surprised you didn't pass your exam? You're fucking lazy. Get up. And if anybody doesn't like my cursing, I'm sorry. I'm a sailor. I'm trying to get right. I promise. So, but accountability. right? You have to be accountable. You have to be accountable. So many people will sit there and try to blame other people. Will try to blame a review, or they'll try to blame, whatever. Like, what? You are responsible for the things that you do and don't do. Everybody else tries to blame. They try to blame everybody else instead of taking responsibility, right? So you have to take a look at yourself and figure out what you're not doing. And if you don't know I would say if you don't know, like I say, if you don't know what you don't know, that's just it. Okay. But accountability, huge on it. You have to take a deep look at yourself and figure out what you're not doing. And the thing about it is, like, what you're not doing. It's just hard for you to admit. Okay. So accountability. Next thing is content and questions. Before I go into that, let me look at these questions. If you guys are getting value, make sure you guys smash that like button. Give me these hearts. Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know where you guys are at in your journey. I want to hear it. I want to hear it all. Like I said, my name is Kevin. I am a nurse. I know a bunch of people always ask me, but I specifically work in the operating room. I've been in the operating room for a year. My first year of nursing was ICU. I worked in a burn ICU, a medical ICU, and a neuro ICU. All that over the span of a year. And then I worked in the PACU for a little bit, and then now I work in the operating room, and I work specifically with robots, and I do GYN. So y'all know what's up. No, but I'm a big fan of the robots, so I like doing those cases a lot. So, hi, how are you? But to answer this question, I just failed my NCLEX. Who is that? Softdam 22. Hey, I'm sorry that you didn't. I'm sorry that you were unsuccessful at your NCLEX. Hey, but you're in the right place. You're in the right place, regardless or not. Here's the thing: if you're going to take the new generation NCLEX, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what exam you take. Period. You have to get that out your head. I don't want to take the new one. Okay, well, if you don't want to take the new one, you need to prepare with this old one, and you need to get in before April 1st. When April 1st, 2023 hits, it is switching over. It is not a joke. It is not a game. April Fools to nobody. All right? It's not a joke. It's not a game. So it's changing. But if it changes, it changes. Guess what? Adjust. You have to adjust. The one thing I'm going to tell you is, like, when you guys get to your floors, or if you guys are any job or whatever that may be, they're always changing policies. They're always expecting us to adjust. This is no different. This is no different at all. For you, for anybody who has not been successful at their exam, and if you need coaching, go over to thebootnurse.com and then go to coaching, and then I offer coaching. So if you guys need coaching, mentoring, tutoring, I got you. Just go over there and check that out. All right. Taking my NCLEX for the 4th time next week, doing what I can to manage my anxiety right now. Well, a big way for you to manage your anxiety is to sit there and to practice. Like you said, you're taking it for the 4th time. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. We speak everything into existence around here. We don't bring no negativity. I'm not about the negativity. Hey, if you about it, go ahead and see yourself out this door. You can't see this door because it's blacked out. So yeah. In order for, like, you can curb that anxiety. If you've been keeping with a good schedule and you have been building up your endurance by sitting in front of this computer and practicing like you play, when you get into that exam, you should be able to crush that exam. Okay? Because I want you to think about it. Even though you've taken it 4 times, you have an advantage over somebody who's never taken the exam just by being in the testing center by itself, right? Like, you know that you're going to go in there. They're going to ask for ID card. They're going to ask for you. They're going to tell you to put your phone inside of a non-breakable bag. They're going to tell you to put it in a locker. They're going to tell you can't take it out the locker even if you go on breaks. If you're not, it's going to void your test. You're going to do the little biometric scan hand thingy. They're going to take your picture. Like everyone else is going to have bubble guts and you're not. So, you understand that they're going to read out the freaking instructions to you before you go into the testing center, right? You know that the testing proctor person that's going to be looking at you through a window, you know that there's going to be a camera on top of you. Like, all of that. So no lie, you already have an advantage because you already know what to expect just in your environment alone. When it comes to teaching, one of the things I learned when I became a master instructor is that environmental factors, you already know. you already know what those environmental factors are. That already brings so much nerve and unrest to you. But like I said, if you've been practicing and building that endurance, sitting on this computer, doing these questions and these quizzes and learning this content over and over and over, I think you're going to do just fine. You're going to do just fine. I'm from New York. I'm an LPN working in pediatrics. A shout out to you. My cousin actually lives in New York. I think she lives in, or no, she lives in New Jersey. She lives in New Jersey. And a shout out to you for working with the babies. Kids are just not my forte. Like, I love kids. I have kids of my own. But taking care of babies is wild. So I gave you all the props of taking care of those babies. All right. Hey, remember, you're LPN and you're still a nurse. So don't be letting folks out here disrespect you. I don't play the disrespect. I'm going to tell y'all right now, when I worked in the ICU, I had nobody. It was just me. And then when I finally got a CNA or a med tech or whatever, sorry if y'all hear my son, he in here screaming and he don't want to go to bed. But he going to bed tonight. I forgot what I was saying because this boy's crying. I forgot now. I forgot. If it comes back to me, it'll pop in my head. So anyway, like I said, you're a nurse. Hey, shout out to you. Take care of those babies. You'll be an RN at some point. And you gonna make it. You gonna make it. I'll be graduating in May. I'll be taking my NCLEX in July, most likely. How should I make a schedule? You make the schedule based off of where you feel like your weak points are. And if you know that you're going to take your NCLEX in July, go ahead and print you out a calendar. So here's something I like to do since we're talking about the schedule. I probably should have said this earlier. Let's say you're taking your NCLEX on July 9th. Put on July 9th, put NCLEX day, and then circle it. And then the day before, put do nothing or relaxation day, right? Because that day, you do nothing. Because here's the thing, cramming doesn't work. It doesn't. All it's going to do is cause unwanted and unneeded anxiety because I'm going to keep it a stack, or I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it all the way real. I'm going to be very, very honest, whichever one of those apply to you. If you're trying to cram at the end, that's a problem because if you don't know it by then, you don't know it at all. So that means, and remember, the NCLEX is not about memorization. Some things you do have to memorize, but it's all about being familiar. Like, I don't expect for you to know what everything is, but if I do throw this medication up here, I do expect for you to be familiar with what you're looking at. Okay, so first thing I would put is, and of course, if you have NCLEX day, relaxation day, then you backtrack, or what we call like reverse engineer, go all the way back, right? Put in there 75 question to 150 question quiz. And then content. Or if you're one of those people who have all the time in the world, like you're at home or you're on part-time, hell, do questions in the morning, hour and a half of 75 question quiz, review your quiz afterwards. That's where it's at right there, is reviewing. That's where it's at, right? You review the ones that you got wrong, but you also review the ones that you got right. Because you'd be so surprised about how you get a question at question 5 and then at question 23, it's the same question, but it's just written differently. And then you get that one wrong. You're like, what? Right? So start off with the ones, like for me, like I said, I started off with pharmacology, even with content. And my quizzes were terrible. They were like 40, it was like 44, 46, 47, 48. And then when I finally broke 50, never got less than a 50. And then when I finally broke 60, never got less than a 60. Right? So that's how you study. That's how you create your schedule. Remember, the schedule is based off of you and your life. Mine was different, right? You know, yours will be based off of your life. And if there's, kind of what I like to say, trim the fat. If there are things that you know that you're not supposed to be doing to where you're wasting your time, go ahead and cut them out. This is what I like to say. Go ahead and audit your life. What are the things that you can get rid of? And remember, when you're studying like this, it's temporary. Some people make it seem like, oh, I can't go hang out with my friends. Hey, it's not going to say on my license and my degree, it does not say Kevin Gibson and friends. It doesn't say that. It does not say Kevin Gibson and wife name, Kevin Gibson or girlfriend name, Kevin Gibson or boyfriend name, Kevin Gibson and children. Doesn't say that. Does not say that at all. All right. So trim the fat, audit your time, allot it onto the schedule. Even if you have to do it hour by hour, put it on there. Stop playing games. That's not directed towards you. That's just me getting hyped. I promise. We good. What can I use to help with content? So I'll always tell people that right now there's so many things, there's so many reviews that are out there that are super helpful that you could use. Doesn't matter. So many out there that you can use. I know I'll start naming off reviews off the top of my head. Only reason I'll start naming off reviews right now was because mine is not up yet. So once mine gets up, then hey, I'll still throw people some bones, here and there. So, but Simple Nursing, that's one. Kaplan, of course. Because a lot of these reviews come with content, it's making videos, making PowerPoint, stuff like that. And then, essentially doing a class about the things that are the most important to look at for NCLEX. You guys got to remember is that when you guys find these reviews are not meant to replace nursing school. They're meant to refresh you of what you forgot at the beginning of nursing school or in the middle or even towards the end. Okay. So there's one thing that Mark Klimick always used to say. I remember in his audio, he was just like, somebody had said to him, he was just like, Mark, I understand everything that you're teaching me. He was like, good, because it's called a review. And everybody started laughing. He was just like, don't be scared if you know the material. Be scared if it's a news flash, because that means there's somewhere in the chain, there was a break and you didn't get it. There were a lot of breaks in my chain because there were a lot of things I didn't get. Of course, there's free YouTube channels. Simple Nursing, Picmonic, Nursing.com, Remar Nursing, Kaplan Review, Archer, UWorld, all those other good spots. Those are the big ones that I can think of off the top of my head. But then there's a bunch of other ones. I actually have a list of them, and so I don't know. Maybe I'll post them up somewhere. That way everybody can see them. Maybe I'll post them up on my Instagram or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. So that's where you can get content. You can either go to the free spots and get them off YouTube, which I'll tell everybody to use YouTube because it's like the number 2 search engine behind Google. And guess who owns YouTube? Google. Make it make sense. So I'll tell people to use that, most definitely. And then if you can, which you should, because it's an investment, is invest into a review. Notice how I said don't buy it, but invest into a review. Okay. So thank you. I appreciate your videos and tips and chat. I appreciate you coming here with the Peach Ring 93. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everybody dropping the love and dropping the likes. So I'm going to start. If y'all want me to start doing it, y'all let me know if y'all want me to start doing it. I'll do it 3 times a week. Hell, I do it every day. Well, maybe not every day because I coach around this time too. So maybe I'll start doing it 2 or 3 times a week. And we'll start talking about stuff. If y'all want to talk about certain topics, like right now, we're just talking about study tips and stuff like that. So if y'all want to start talking about, even content, like right now, I have a content up that, a PowerPoint that I just finished with Addison's disease and Cushing's syndrome. So, I was talking about that. So be ready for those. If y'all want them, that's what's up. Bodyworks, you're good. You're welcome. You're welcome. Did Mark Klimick help you? Absolutely. Mark Klimick audio. So here's the thing about his audio. His audios are old. His audios came out and I want to say between 2008 and 2010. Some of y'all were probably in the single digits of age, and that kind of makes me feel old now. So don't be coming for me with your weird comments about old folks. But his content was great. I actually went to his actual review. He's old now. I'm not gonna say old. He's older. He's an older gentleman. He's in his 70s now. And he doesn't do the reviews too much anymore. And if he does them once in a blue moon to where he's actually there teaching. And one of the girls I actually work with actually went to the school that he teaches at and was his and that was her professor, which I thought was pretty cool. Don't know why. Maybe it's just a little nursing thing because it's it's not like he's super duper famous out here, but he's famous in the nursing world, let me tell you. So I would listen to Mark Klimick like it was the second coming of Jesus. I kid you not. I was listening to that and I was listening. Oh no, he passed away? Stop it. You're lying. He did not pass away. I'm about to be hot right now. Y'all might see me cry on this live stream because that dude helped me pass, like no bullshit. But he damn, he passed away? Stop. All right, I got look, now we got to do some research. See, now we got to look. Now we got to look. Oh my God, it's number 4? Stop it. Shit. Well, there's that. That's terrible. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it's life. It's life. Here's another thing. Here, so, this kind of takes me back to, if this is the worst thing that could happen to you, I think that's okay. If you not passing the exam is the worst thing that can happen to you, I really, really think that's okay. That's crazy because he was one of the single biggest, factors for me passing. Man. RIP to the GOAT. He's and he passed away. When did he pass away? Was it 2021? I think that's what it said. Let me see. I may have scrolled too far. And the thing about it is just he definitely left a legacy for himself. It's just there's not gonna be one nurse who has never not heard of his review. He has the most pirated review in the United States. That's crazy. Oh, it looks like it was 2020. No, wait, 2022? Man. Yeah. But I definitely, so it was a review that was, it's one of the guys, his name is Pete. He's a former Air Force guy, but I drove all the way to Houston, and I actually met a couple of friends there who I'm still friends with now. He taught the review just like Mark's audios are. And the review was exactly like the audios, with a couple of nuances that were different. A couple of things that were updated, like bioterrorism and, for ventricular, use lidocaine, but it's amiodarone. And that's what we do now. And I think that's just really crazy for the fact that I can still hear his audios in my head. To this day, he's the reason that after I listened to the psych, which is number 2 or whatever, after I listened to his psych lecture, I never got a psych question wrong after that. When he was talking about therapeutic communication, it was crazy. So I think I actually fell asleep one day in the living room, taking a nap, which I obviously wasn't supposed to be doing. But I took a nap, and it was over his, the psychiatric meds, talking about, what meds you can have and all that other stuff. And I woke up and I was like, why is it that I feel like I know that? And then sure enough, I was just like, well, looks like I'm going to do well on this exam because I fell asleep and I hear it in my head. So I think the Mark Klimek audios are great. I think his review, the actual review with him, is also great. Even though it's not him, it is, even though it's not him and it's other people carrying on his legacy, it was definitely at that point, probably some of the best $350 I think I've ever spent. And I kid you not, this is proof that I went to the actual review, because I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me back up. So I went to the actual review, and this is the book that they give you. Look, it's all faded. Honestly, I'll probably never give this book up. I was going to give it away to some nursing students so they could use it because it has all my notes in it. But now I almost did it, a couple years back because I went in 2019, but I can't give it away now. I legit can't give it away. And he did pass away. I love lecture 12 where he's talking about, was it stable versus unstable, acute versus chronic? That's literally how I teach now. I teach based off of because the moment I realized how he was teaching, I was like, oh my God, that's how I used to teach. And for all those that don't know, I used to be a surgical tech instructor. I was a surgical tech in the Navy. Technically, I'm still a surgical tech in the Navy. And I went to go be an instructor for surgical technology, and I did that for about 3.5 years. And now, or after that, I went to go teach for another 3.5 years, and I taught a tactical combat casualty care, pre-hospital trauma life support, combat casualty care course. I was the coordinator for the trauma nursing core course, but now I am actually an instructor for that, to where I can teach that. So teaching, I never thought I would I never thought I would like teaching, but I love teaching people. I love it. I like to consider myself an educator, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, yeah, go to a hospital. Nah. I'm going to give you all the information that you could ever want, everything that I know. And then at the end, it is your decision on what path that you decide you want to walk down for yourself. But yeah, that lecture 12 is gold. It's gold. Yeah, he did. He definitely helped out. He helped everybody. Like that's not even a joke. That's why there's no new lectures. Make more sense now. Yeah. Mark Clemick, he passed away. Any way to do it online fully? Do what online fully? Is it Cali F1212? Now it means even more to you. Yeah, it does. It means tons to me now. Like, I can't even give it up. Like, I have both. Where's the blue book? The blue book. Sometimes I think about I was like, man, some people be doing these lives and they don't wear pants. I'm so glad I have pants on. I don't know where it's at. The blue book is in here somewhere. It's in here somewhere, but I legit can't give them up. Like, no lie. So, I'm a nursing student and struggling to pass. I have my 3rd exam coming up. So you're in nursing school and struggling to pass. Well, just like everybody else in this room, nursing school is no joke. 3rd exam. So you're in your 3rd exam, like in your 1st semester. Are you in your 3rd exam for? Are you in your 3rd exam for? Like in your 2nd semester? Like, where are you exactly? So here's a couple. Let's look at some more study tips that we got going on here. A couple things is just like, some things to. It's just like, how long do you study? Right? So, like, do you study for an hour? Do you study for a couple hours? So what I used to do is I would study. I did content first. I had to get the gears turning, get them all greased up and get them moving. Right? I had to do that. And so I would study from 9 o'clock. And this is when I was at home. I would study from either 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and probably about 9 o'clock until about 12. And then I would get up, walk around, and by study, I would start studying content. So I would start with pharmacology or whatever I felt like I needed. And then I would go through all the content. And then I turn right back around. And if I saw the video, I would go back and I would watch the video again. And then I would give myself a break. And then after that break, I would go to, I would do my quiz. So it'd be like around 1:30, I would start my quiz. And I would know. I'd look down at the clock. I'd be like, all right, 1:30. I was like, all right, so by 4 o'clock, I need to be done with my 75 question quiz. And then when I was finished, I would be like, as soon as I got done with my quiz, I would get up. I would walk around, go eat, go work out, go do something. And then after that, I would come and I would review my quiz. Or I would review my readiness test, or I would review my assessment, whichever ones would let me do it. Because some of those, like, once you do a CAT exam or a CAT, it won't let you review it, or some of those readiness exams won't let you review them. So I would review what I could. And then so here's a good rule of thumb. When you review your exams, when you review them, when you're studying, it needs to be ×3. So for example, if it took you an hour to take your 75 question quiz, which to me is really fast, but if you're doing an hour, you need to remediate or review your exam ×3. So 1 hour ×3, that's 3 hours. That right there is what's going to make up everything of, repetition and retaining. And if you put yourself on a schedule, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. Some people want to take their exams in the morning. Some people want to take their exams late at night. Some people want to take them in the afternoon. And sometimes it takes you doing those it takes, you going through those sequences to figure out what works for you. And I like to try to tell a lot of people, I was like, well, don't try to take your exam at 1 o'clock in the morning, because you can't go take your NCLEX at 1 o'clock in the morning. You taking your NCLEX at 4 o'clock in the morning is a little bit different, because I think you can get into the exam at like 6 or 7, but still early. So, but if it works for you, it works for you. You're in your first semester. Okay. So first semester for me when I was in school was fundamentals, health assessments, and therapeutic communication. I went to I went to Texas A&M University in Corpus Christi, and no, I'm not an Aggies fan. If you see, I got a huge Longhorns. Well, you can't see it, but I got a huge Longhorns fan right here. Or what is this thing? Flag right here. So it don't matter where you go to school, ladies and gentlemen. Don't matter. They don't care. No school is going to be like, hey, go Horns, or hey, guns up. And no one's going to care where you went to school. They just want to know if it's accredited, number one, and two, you passed that exam. That's it. So, yeah, there's that. Another big thing I want to talk about, I'm going to open it up right here and we'll talk about it real quick as soon as I find it. So, yeah, I know I've been sitting here talking for a little bit, but everybody that just jumped in, how y'all doing? My name is Kevin. I'm a nurse, NCLEX coach. I'm in the military, surge tech, all that good stuff. We're talking, we're just talking that nurse stuff, and we're also talking about, helpful ways to study. Accountability is one, time management is another, a good support system, right? And then also think about how you've been studying. Think about how you've been studying, especially for my people who have been unsuccessful multiple times, right? What's not working? And if it's not working, are you willing to change it up? Because my mentor used to tell me, well, obviously you're not doing something right. Then he recommended Kaplan, because he was just like, he flat out told me, he was just like, well, we've done it your way. He was like, now we're going to do it my way. Verbatim. That's what he said to me. Me, I probably wouldn't say it as aggressive to some people. I would just be like, hey, well, obviously what you have been doing has not been working, so we need to figure out a different way to do it. And then luckily for me, Kaplan was great. And it laid out pretty much everything that I needed to do. Right? 35 to 40 hours a week of study time. Is that productive study time? Because you can overstudy. You very well can overstudy. You ever felt like you study for hours and hours and your brain just feels like a fog? Yeah, because you overstudy. It's like you feel like you can't retain anything. So everything has to have a balance. Like if you try to study over and over and over and over and over, and you don't take a break, what are you going to do? I think we have 2 wrong, MK. What do you mean? You think we have it wrong? As in like he didn't pass away? Man, I hope so. No, it says, I just see something else that says he retired. He didn't pass away. He better not have passed away. I'm going to be hot. Wait, hold on. So there's another dude on here. His name is Mark Klimick, and he did pass away, but it's not the Mark Klimick that everyone knows and loves. Hey, I'm still not giving up this yellow book, so don't nobody ask me, okay? But yeah, some guy, he had a tax practice, so definitely not our MK, right? So there's that. And then, yeah, it's the same guy. Yeah, it just says that he retired from nursing. I mean, hey, Mark Klimick, he can retire from nursing. That's great. That was in 2021, though, that he retired. If I'm reading this right. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about him passing away. Oh, thank God. I hope Mark never sees this. And if he does, I'm blaming y'all. Every single one of y'all. Over here get me all built up on emotions because y'all made me think this man died. Anyways, I really do. I really do hope I can meet him one day. I think that would be great. If I could interview him, I think that would be awesome. Like, I really do. Um, so, so yeah. Let me pull this up. I know, obviously, I got distracted when y'all were talking about something. So hold up. Let me see something. So let's find it. Let's find it. Here we go. All right. So yeah, we were talking about. Usually, I talk about like, hey, like what challenges do you face? I just got finished talking to a young lady just recently, and like I said, she was studying. Like she'd study, and she's taking her exam 5 times, and she studied. Everything was on paper because she's taking all the free stuff, right? And I'm gonna go away from saying buy something because people will say that, oh, well, I don't want to buy it. You can buy anything you want, but if you don't invest the time to use the program appropriately, nothing is going to work for you. That's like you saying, hey, I pay for, I go to the gym, or I pay for a gym membership, but I don't go to the gym, but I expect the same results. Make that make sense, right? Make it make sense. And so where you said something about you study 35 to 40 hours a day, that's good, but, do you take breaks? And then, like I said, are you willing to do something different? Are you willing to do something different in regards to how you study? Like for me, like I said, they got podcasts out there. Of course, the Mark Clemick audios, and then whatever program that you have that has audio. So I know that Archer has content videos. Kaplan has content videos. If you use Remar Nursing, I know that she has videos. Stuff like that. So think about those. When you do your quizzes, this is another thing I'll say. When you do quizzes, all of your quizzes, every single time, it doesn't matter what you're using, all of your quizzes need to be randomized. They never need to be on tutor mode. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. They never need to be on tutor mode, and they always need to be randomized. Why? I'll answer it for you. It's because your NCLEX is going to be not on tutor mode, and it's going to be randomized. So why wouldn't you practice like you play? Right? Some people are just like, oh, well, I get anxiety. Well, you're going to have to that's where you have to push through that anxiety, and you have to build that endurance of sitting through this exam and mirroring how the exam is while you're studying. Okay? I have to tell my students that all the time. Every time I talk to them, I'm just like, because I can go in and I can see their quizzes. So whatever program that they decide that they want to use, they let me see it. I go through it with them. We go through Q&A, and I'm just like, why is this on tutor mode? They were like, well, I was like, I was just like, hey, there's a lot of things I'll take, but excuses aren't one of them. So I don't want to hear it. So you can't do it on tutor mode. You can't, because that's not how your exam is. And I'll always preach practice like you play, and tutor mode is not practicing like you play. Okay. I test this week. Pray for me. Hey, you got all the prayers. You got a whole community here, right? Everybody give her a shout out. Let her know she's going to do all right. All right. Speak it into existence. And then when you pass, let us know. Let us know what's up. Okay. Yes, I'm willing. This time I'm getting a tutor. Hey, if you need a tutor, you know where to find me. Go ahead and get the tutor. So there's another thing. Remember how I told you guys how I fell asleep? And a lot of people believe this, and you could use it to your advantage if you want. But I always feel is if it doesn't hurt anybody, and you're the one who's taking this exam, why not try it? So this one is called Hypnopedia. If anybody has ever heard of Hypnopedia, go ahead and drop it in there. I'll give it a sec to see if anybody knows what Hypnopedia is. Don't even try to cheat either. Don't try to cheat. Don't try to lower TikTok and try to see what it is. All right? Just go ahead and say it. Just go ahead and say it. Let me know what it is. All right, we take it too long. We take it too long. So Hypnopedia, all it means is sleep learning. That's it. Sleep learning. So remember the story I told you guys about how I was laying on the couch and I fell asleep? I was actually listening to Mark Clemick while the TV was on, but on mute, but Mark Clemick was playing in the background. So I fell asleep, and then all of a sudden I knew, like, the psych like, it's like, not that I knew it, but it was just more familiar to me because I could hear his voice. Yeah, sleep learning. Yeah, so essentially, when you fall asleep, you ever fallen asleep, or you've ever been to the mall? Well, I'll use this as an example. You've been to the mall and you hear a song that you've never heard before. And then hours later, for some weird reason, you're humming a song and you're just like, why does this song sound so familiar? Right? It's because your brain is a machine, and it acquired that knowledge without you even realizing it, because you were listening to it. Right? You may not have been actively listening to it, but you were listening to it. So with sleep learning, it's essentially the same thing. You turn on if I turned on music right now while you were sleeping, you would wake up and probably either hear the beat in your head or you know the words to the song. So who's to say that same concept can't work when you're studying for NCLEX? Doesn't hurt if you try it, right? Doesn't hurt if you try it. So that's one thing I've also suggested to my students. I was just like, who's to say that you can't do it? Who's to say that you can't do it, and who's to say it's not going to work? If it doesn't work, cool. You're going to go tell anybody, hey, guys, I tried to sleep learn pharmacology. It didn't work. Okay, well, you ain't got to tell everybody what you did. It's like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But for me, I can honestly say it works. I don't get paid for that. I don't do research. I'm not a studyologist with sleep and stuff like that. But if you fall asleep, or if you're sleeping and you have something low where they're talking about something like a lecture, I don't think it would hurt you. I don't think it would hurt you at all to try it. Okay. Like I said, we talked about the support system. Another thing is, how do you absorb content? So should I sleep listening? So I should be sleep listening to Mark Clement. You damn right. You should be. I did. It wouldn't hurt. Try it for a week and then let me know. Try it for a week, or even try it for a couple days and let me know how it works. Another thing is, how do you absorb content, right? So for me, when I was listening to Mark Clement, anytime I was not in front of this computer, anytime I was listening to Mark Clement. Like I said, I was listening to Mark Clement like he was going out of style, like he was retiring, and y'all over here telling me that he died. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves, every one of y'all. But I would listen to Mark Clement everywhere, and when I mean I would listen to him everywhere. Like if I was mowing my lawn, I was listening to Mark Clement, and I had a big yard at this point, so it would take me like 2 hours to mow my lawn and to weed eat and all other stuff. So I got 2 hours worth of content right there. I would listen to Mark Clement to and from work, and I had a 30 to 35, well, about 30-minute drive to work, to and from, so an hour, right? I would listen to him that way, and then when I was cleaning my house, I have a sound bar in my living room, so I would hook it up Bluetooth, and while I was cleaning the house or whatever, it was loud enough to where I could hear it. I may have not been actively listening and sitting and trying to take notes, but it's just the repetitiveness of taking that knowledge in, right? And then, hell, when I was in the shower, fucking Alexa. Let me not say that loud enough because she might hear me through the door or something because she a creeper. So, put the Alexa on, or put my phone attached to a speaker and just let it play. I wouldn't be in the shower for a whole hour, but for the 10 or 15 minutes or however long I'm in the shower, I at least am acquiring that knowledge every single day, all the time. So you gotta find those times. It's just like, hey, I didn't get a chance to study. Okay, well, when you're not actively in front of this computer, go ahead and get that knowledge in somewhere else. That's why, like me, around that time, I stopped listening to music like altogether. The only thing I listened to every day was Mark Clement. And it didn't bother me because I had a goal and I had an objective of what I wanted to do. And that was for me to pass my exam. So for me to listen to it, it didn't bother me. And then when I passed, I was just like, well, what do I listen to now? All right, well, I guess I'll listen to Cardi B. I don't listen to Cardi B like that. I'm just saying. But that's probably why I listen to nothing but podcasts right now, because I don't really listen to music anymore. So, but yeah, it's like, okay, so like, how do you best absorb knowledge? Only you know this. Only you know the type of learner that you are, right? And then if you think that you're that type of learner, you may have to adjust to try to do something different. Are you open to trying something different? What type of learner are you? Are you auditory, where you can sit there and listen to it and it sticks? Are you visual, like you can see it, right? So like a video of some sort, kinesthetic, hands, like, hands-on. Unfortunately, your NCLEX is not hands-on. So are you a mixture of all three? Are you a read-write, where if you're in a freaking book and you're freaking and you're trying to take notes, like, pen to hand, by you writing it, it helps you memorize. Or if you're looking at a PowerPoint, you try to write the whole PowerPoint down. Are you a mixture of one? I mean, are you 1, 2, or a mixture of, 2, 3, or all of them? Like for me, I like auditory, but I can't listen to stuff like unless like I'm in the car. Like if I'm in the car, then I can acquire a lot more knowledge. Like it's weird. Like on my drive to my job, that's how it is every single time. I'm just like, man, or in the shower. And I ain't even in the shower long. I'm like, what the hell? So there's that. We talked about accountability or lack thereof. Also content. So when you talk about content, Q&A, and I may pull some Mark K stuff out of here, but I truly want people to understand this. Like you have to really understand what they're asking. Number one, read your question all the way through. Don't be like, oh, the nurse is blah, 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 blah. What patient does it? Nope. And I know the answer, and then you go straight to the answers. No. Read the question all the way through. You don't understand it, read it again. And then when you don't understand it the third time or the second time, go to your answers, read your answers. Because sometimes your answers will help you understand what the question is asking you. And then if you still don't understand it, reword it. Not change it, but reword what the question is asking you. Okay? So, of course, and here's something else that some people may not realize, that there's 8 sections of the NCLEX pie. The top 3 sections are pharmacology, management of care, and physiological adaptations. Management of care is the largest section, makes up 20% of the NCLEX. You won't know. You'll know which ones. It's like, hey, which one is the best, or who do you see first, right? And then you have pharmacology, right? And pharmacology is it's all based off of nurse safety. Like, can you practice as a safe nurse at this level? Because that's not like it. The NCLEX is just the beginning. When you get on the floor and then all that stuff that you learn is applied to real people, then you're gonna realize, well, hell, guess I should have paid more attention in health assessments or something, right? So, and then of course there is what needs to be memorized and what doesn't need to be memorized. Lab values, gotta know them. You gotta know them. You can't just be like, oh, I think that's it. No, you gotta know your lab values. You gotta know them. Everybody knows that 7.35, 7.45 is the happy median for your arterial blood gases, or your pH, right? You got to know with your metabolic and respiratory acidosis and alkalosis, you got to know what those numbers are. You got to know. Cranial nerves, you need to know what they are. Now, when they ask you NCLEX style questions about cranial nerves, it won't be like, you have a patient who is having an issue with their tongue. What cranial nerve is it? They're not going to ask you that. They'll ask you in a form of like a neurological question. They'll ask you like a neurological question. I don't have one pulled up right here in front of me, but they'll ask you in the form of a neurological question. And then you're to be like, oh, okay, well, I know that, like cranial nerve number 9 is the glossal nerve, right? Be like, but they'll start talking about in the question about how like their tongue is numb. Oh, okay, cool. So I know that's that one. That's number 9, and it involves his tongue. Oh, he has a neurological issue. Man, maybe he might have issues swallowing. If he has issues swallowing, that's probably an airway issue. You see how they do that? I like to call it the spider web. Effect. They give you one thing, and then it skews off to where there are all these things that could be potentially going on with this patient that are right, but you got to figure out which one is the most important, right? And of course, chronic versus acute, and stable versus unstable, right? Delegation, who can do what? The nurse can teach. LPN and CNA, or LPN and UAP, can reinforce the teaching. Who can do a sterile activity? who can do activities of daily living. The one thing that I want people to realize is that when it goes down that hierarchy or that pyramid is that you have the RN, the LPN, LVN, and then the UAP. The RN can do everything that the LPN and the UAP can do, right? But in regards to time management and delegation, that is why those tasks are delegated to those individuals. Because of the more important tasks, because of the more important tasks. Not saying that the tasks that they do aren't important. It's just saying the more important tasks are when it comes to education and the knowledge that is based off of degrees. That's not saying I've seen some LPN, LVNs that run circles around a lot of other people, a lot of other RNs, right? But on NCLEX, that's what they want. They'll never ask like, can a LVN give an IV? No, that's not what it's saying. No one's asking you anything about if you're IV certified. That's not what they're asking you, right? They're not asking you if you're EKG certified. It's a broad, standard that NCLEX goes off of. Okay. So delegation, super, super important. That's a management of care question. Like if I have a patient who just came from the operating room, and they need a dressing change, who's going to do the first dressing change? Is it going to be me, or is it going to be, the freaking LPN or LVN? If I have a patient who has a blood pressure or has vital signs, their blood pressure is like we'll say 130 over 78. And then you come back 10 minutes later and now it's, 90 over 60. Are you going to assign that? Are you going to assign that patient to the LVN, or are you as the RN going to go see? You see what I'm saying? So those are the things that you really have to have a grasp of that, because when you go to the nursing floors, or if you go like to med surg, or if you go to like tele or stuff like that, at least in my hospital, is that, they have that team member aspect. Me, I work in the operating room, so I work with the surgeons, and I work with the anesthesiologists, and I work with the other surge techs, and pretty much everything is on me. Like when it comes to making sure, all that stuff is good until they get to the operating room, then they become the responsibility of the entire team, and then, off to the recovery room when we're finished. So you have to realize like who does what. Okay. Everything that you learned in the real world, if you're working as an LPN, go ahead and forget it. If you're a corpsman or anything military in the medical field, forget it. Just know that you had to start over. And if you've gotten this far to taking your NCLEX and all that good stuff, then you already know what's up. So, but yeah, I think I pretty much hit a whole bunch of stuff. So time management, put yourself on a schedule. Accountability, make sure you have it. Understand what you're not doing, but understand what you're doing. But with what you are not doing, you need to figure out how to capitalize on that and how to study better for yourself. Support system. Everybody needs a good one. Seriously, because, getting through school is already hard. Working in the field is just as hard, if not harder. Because of everything that nurses have to endure and that they have to see. So a support system, make sure that you have one. And if you guys don't have a support system, y'all know where to find me. Y'all can add me on all those platforms, follow me on all that stuff, hit me up. You want coaching, y'all know where to find me. Go to www.com. Go to thebootnurse.com, go to coaching, look at the package, get it, and we'll make some stuff work for y'all. We also talked about, different ways of studying, audio. That's a big one for me. Huge audio. Those different content areas, starting with your roughest one first. When you do your quizzes, they always need to be random, and they always never put them on tutor mode, because that is not how your exam is. We practice like we play. Mark Klimick is alive and well. His audios are great. A bit outdated, but about 90% still correct. Love him. So if you guys use them, I totally support that man and everything that he's done and how he's paved that way. So, of course, content and Q&A. Some people will tell you out there, hey, I'm going to show you a trick. No, there is no trick to this damn test. It is studying, understanding, and being familiar understanding the content, understanding the question and what they're asking you, and pushing through it. It's endurance. It's an endurance. It's like running 100. It's like being in an ultra marathon. Can you finish? I hope so. Right? So, but yeah, usually I would tell people, hey, tell me your personal goals. Some of y'all told me where y'all were, and I appreciate that. And just know that no matter where you are in life at all, period, that you being unsuccessful is not the worst thing that could happen to you, because you can go take this exam as many times as you want. Trust me, they don't care about taking your money. So, but yeah, I appreciate everybody showing up. I appreciate everybody amusing me. I think next time I'm going to do a poll. I don't even know what I'll talk about next time. We talked about study tips this time. Maybe we'll talk about, I don't know, maybe we'll dive more into time management. Maybe we'll talk about lab values. We'll talk about something. I don't know. I'll pick, well, maybe we'll talk about delegation. Talk about delegation and some other stuff as well. Whatever I see, because I have some stuff right here. My prepping for NCLEX, my lessons that I have about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 of them. So we could probably go through those, see how y'all feel. But yeah, y'all be great. Stay great. Everyone is a boot, to include myself. We're always learning. We're always getting better every single time. So I hope y'all have a great evening. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, y'all know where to find me. But until then, I will see you guys later. And you guys have a wonderful night. All right? Bye-bye.